What's going on, YouTube? This is your boy Mr. Critic here again on another review on the wireless, you know, brawler controller, retro fighter, I should say. Yep, the retro fighter controller, which I do think is a very nice touch to, the wire controller. What can I say what I like about this new controller is the fact of, the dual way, obviously, with that memory card that's, right behind here, because of, my middle finger, would tend to hit behind here. There's barely any space, between your fingers right here, and, as a rest. So it's really hard to, get your fingers, some rest, when it's between here, you know, compared to with the wireless is nice and free. So I really do love that feature on this wire controller. And whenever I'm doing a review on a controller, me or whatever it is, I don't see anyone making any critic on any products. So I like to be the one to point these things out. And shout out to Mad Lil Pixel. It was him that I know about the wireless retro fighter controller, but I don't think he really went into any in-depth with the controller, to test it to make sure that everything works perfectly. So that's what I did, especially, me, I'm a gamer. I'm gonna put a capital R on that, on that gamer part, you understand? So right out of the box, so I got my little notepad right here. So what I'm going to critique this controller on is the Eleanor buttons. So right out of the box, when I pressed these buttons, I just felt something just off with them, like the travel distance before it actually connects, it's just too far. The travel is way too far. They did a great job on the trigger buttons, which is a little bit quick. I have no problem with these, as you press within about 15, just like 15% of it, it reacts, with no problem, and, that whole roll feeling is still great, like a actual trigger compared to this, where, it just notches off. But again, I still have no problem with that feature, which is actually sweet. But like I said, me, I'm a Mario Kart champion, and I realize, with this right here, what can I say? Like I said, the travel on these Eleanor buttons, I just felt, that something was absolutely off. And the minute I put in, here's my N64, guys. This is my N64 right here. My Mario Kart is on right now, and let me show you one of the issues that I realized with this controller. Now watch this. I'm going to show you. Right now, right now I have the old retro fighter controller in right now. So I'm going to try to make this as best as possible. I'm going to show you here. Go to time trial. All right. Now I pick Mario here. Now let me show you what I like about the old controller. Now watch this. The old controller, look, as I press, it reacts. You actually doesn't see any delay. Look, I'm just touching it. That's it. See, that's it. I'm just touching it and it works perfectly. Absolute perfectly, okay? Now, I'm gonna put in the wireless retro fighter. Where is that piece? Here it is. All right. Try not to let the system glitch. And another thing I don't like with this piece right here, it is so hard to pull out when it's time to get it out. Try not to let the system miss and glitch. Okay. All right, here we go. So it's working. Continue game. Now watch this when I press on the wireless controller. When I'm talking about, I'm just slightly pressing. Look, the same exact motion that I did on the old controller, and it has nothing to do with breaking in the controller. It's nonsense. The old controller is just very responsive from right out of the box. I've never had an issue. Look at that. I'm doing the same exact press on this new controller, and it's pretty much a dead zone. Now, once you press, or you literally have to press on it like this, then it works. See, I gotta press. So that just goes to show that the Eleanor buttons on this thing is not as great. And one other thing that you can see here, now watch how delayed the jump is compared to this. Watch. You see that? There's an actual delay, like a 0.6 maybe about of a second before it actually recognizes what you do. Now look, see, my regular press does not work until you actually gun it. Now that's one of the issues I realized with this controller here. You know, it's definitely a big problem. Now, another issue with this controller that I'm going to touch on right now. The trigger buttons, right? If I go around the lap and give you an example, if I get a banana, if I'm holding it with the trigger button, let's say if I'm within like about 15 to 20 seconds of the lap, as I'm holding the trigger button, between the transfer, the transfer of the signal from the controller to the receiver, there's like a split second disconnection. I gotta say, that's the best way I can say. It's like a quick disconnection. So what happened is that the N64 thinks that you release the banana when you don't release the banana. So I've realized that on numerous of laps that I've driven, and I'm holding an item, whether it be a green shell or whatever it is. Eventually, the megahertz, the 2.4 megahertz, it will just disconnect real quick, and then and catch itself back. But by then, the damage is done. The banana drops or whatever it is, that I'm holding. So it just goes to shows that, there are just issues within, the transfer here, with the controller. But I mean, if you're a regular person who doesn't, not really a gamer, and you just play this to play, I play with this, just to play, just some random games. But but if I'm ever in a situation where, I'm playing game, I wouldn't want to be using this, to be honest. Everything else, seems to be great. The controller part is great and all that, but just some things to point out, in regards to when you're playing like a Mario Kart and you're holding items, that you will lose a split second connection, with the signal sending to the receiver and so forth. So that's one problem that's there. So there's something just to point out there. So what can I say here now? Now my next thing here I want to touch on is what we got here, concave buttons. Now I don't understand, well, when I took this out of the box and I felt the buttons, I'm like, why does these buttons feel concave? When compared to the old controller, they were kind of convex. And all video game buttons have been in a convex type feeling. So I would love to see them change from this slight concave style and go back to the good old convex you know, style feeling. It's a much better feeling in my opinion, you know. So that's something I would love to touch on. And what can I say, you know, last but not least, um now this is a feature that I would love to kind of see. Hold on, let me see if I can get this thing out of here real quick. Jeez, this thing is so hard to take out. Okay, well, my system just crashed because I was trying to take this thing out. I have no problem with the wire ones. I love this thing. This is what I use, you know, on a nightly basis, you know, to play one of my favorite games, you know, Perfect Dark. You know, I love to get in a quick little hour and a half of trigger finger against, you know, the robots, you know, in this video game. It's just an amazing game. Nonetheless, you know, I will show you guys my, you know, my N64, you know, collection here. But, you know, if you guys want to see that, you know, leave a comment below and I will definitely show you my collection of N64 games. So what I would love to see them do is bring this one back, remove, you know, this. It really does hurt my fingers, you know, my middle finger in between here, because it's, you know, it's just so close and it really hurts. And if they can convert that into like a, you know, where it's nice and free like this with a wired, right? And then have this piece here, you know, kind of, you know, implemented into here where the memory card can be, you know, down at the port, you know, that goes into the controller. You know, that would be a sweet design. You know, I never saw something like this before, and I think I would definitely give Retro Fighter an A+ for coming up with an idea of releasing that memory card from the controller. I mean, it is it is such a beautiful feeling, you know. But I would love to see a wide controller again, you know, with the same feature where you could just put this right, you know, where the controller is kind of connected somehow, you know, with closer to the memory card section, and it connects into the system. And this way it, you know, this way it frees up, you know, it free up, you know, this bay behind here, which is, you know, which really do sucks, and I just don't like it behind here. You know, it's really a pain in the butt. You know, every time I'm playing, you know, my fingers, you know, it's just banging across this, you know, this piece right here, you know. So, and another point I want to, you know, I want to critique a little bit here. I hate when video game companies, they, you know, they put these lights, you know, right in your face. You know, I'm one of those individuals, you know, I love to play, you know, my games in the dark. Let's just say, you know, God forbid, you know, if I'm laying down and I'm holding the controller to my face, might not be a big deal per se, but I would love to see them put that button, you know, behind the controller somewhere, like right behind here, you know, just, you know, underneath into the port. I mean, I don't see the need for it to be in your face. You know, it's just a useful, you know, a useless place for them to be putting this light. You know, just please, you know, put the lights behind here. It doesn't need to be up front. You know, so what I went ahead and do was, let me plug this in here real quick. Even though I didn't have to do all that, but you know me, I'm one of those individuals. I hate lights. You know, well, this thing's not turning on. You know, I hate to have lights in the front of my face. So what I'll do is, let me see here. This thing is not working. Let me get this thing working really quick. All right. So press start. As you can see, you know, there's no light right here, but there's a light, you see, in here, so it's transparent, so I can still, you know, have an idea when the controller is on, because see, that's a light right there, you know, that is on, you know, regardless. You know, so what I did was I just put, you know, a piece of electrical tape right over the light, and it covered, you know, that light from, you know, protruding through the controller. And that's the light right there, as you can see, which I have no problem with it being just right here. That's fine, you know. But I would love to see companies just, you know, put the light, you know, behind here. This way it's not, you know, in your face, you know, type of thing. So once again, Retrofido, great job, you know, on the wireless controller, but you definitely need to, I mean, you did a good job on this. I don't see why, you know, this could not be perfected one shot. You know, this would have been my controller go-to. And that issue with the disconnection, you know, with where the signal drops for like a mere second, you know, like 0.6 or 0.7, you know, the controller would actually disconnect from that, you know, just a quick little disconnection. So if I'm playing Mario Kart, I do realize it. Even when I'm playing Perfect Dark, you know, and I hold, you know, when I hold the A button to bring up the menu for all my guns, I would realize that it would, you know, the menu would fall and then it would come back. So I realized it's that same issue that it happens throughout. I don't think it's a software issue at all. It's not a software issue, period. I just think that, you know, this is probably, you know, their first, you know, this is their first take on making something like this, you know, and keep in mind that a system like this never designed to be on a wide wireless controller, but it, you know, it can be worked because, you know, you see the Super Nintendo with 8-bit dope, they have perfected it. So far, I've played with it and I've never had an issue. If I did, I would have made a critique video on that. But as far as that goes, just the N64 with retro fighters, I would love to see them, you know, fix that issue. And like I said, I would love to see them make one where this is not here, but with a wired, and then this piece just, you know, somehow implemented into this right here, where the memory card sits here and here, and just away from the controller. Okay, so that's it for this video. I want to keep this video under 20 minutes, and that's pretty much it. Here we go, Mario Kart. All right, so thank you for watching, guys, and see you all next time on the critique product channel.